Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
And we're on a road trip today. Where are we, Steve?
We're in the greater Krebs, Oklahoma Metroplex, which is near McAllister.
That's right. And more importantly to us, it's home of Pete's Place and Choc beer.
Choc beer.
Why don't we go inside and check it out? Steve and I were treated to a special tour of the brewery by head brewer Michael Lally.
I think it's hard for people to understand that we make all this beer here. You know, it's a 15-barrel brew house. We've got 12 fermenters. 6 of those fermenters are single batch size. 3 of those fermenters hold 2 batches, and 3 of those fermenters hold 4 batches. Brewing multiple batches into the same tank really helps us from a consistency standpoint, because, you know, I mean, most big brewers are blending batches and this and that, and we're kind of doing that, on a small scale. But that's the thing that you see as soon as you walk in the brew house and the size of the tanks. We just completed in September of 07 a new warehouse packaging facility. So after the beer spends its time in fermentation, which is 10 to 14 days for the ales and a minimum of 30 days typically for the lagers, we'll transfer that beer to the bottle shop that's inside the new warehouse, and then we'll bottle it there. Everything's bottle conditioned, so it's flat when it goes in the bottle, and then we'll move it out to the warehouse, which is temperature controlled, so we can continue the fermentation process in the bottle, and then there it sits until we can get it on a truck and get it out of Krebs. You know, it's kind of one of those things. What is the point of difference between commercial beer and microbrewed beers? And we wanted to have the look just right off the bat, so we're using a full box instead of a 6-pack carrier, and the labels are different than a lot of small breweries, so that there's no doubt when you see it, if you recognize the product or not, it's certainly a craft beer. The restaurant was founded by Pete Pritchard, who comes to America. His name was Petro Pagare, changes it to Pete Pritchard, and he comes to the Krebs to work in the coal mines. He gets hurt in the coal mines and starts brewing beer and selling it out of his house, and as the local folklore goes, it's Choc beer that he's been taught to brew by the local Choctaw Indians. And you can appreciate how hilarious this is, because here's how they made beer in 20-gallon batches before. They would take uncrushed barley in a pillowcase, I guess probably whatever they could get in there, based on volume, not weight, and they would suspend that in a boiling pot of water with a broomstick, and they would boil that for an hour. And then they would add, however much malt they had, they would add the exact same ratio of cane sugar, and then top that liquid up to whatever volume that they were trying to reach in the end, whether that was a 10-gallon batch or 20. And then they would add, whatever hops they could get their hands on. They would ferment that with bread yeast, usually as warm as they could. In the wintertime, they'd put it where there was heat or in a closet with a light bulb, so they'd ferment it hot. So you can imagine. So the challenge for us was to adapt that to a little bit more of a commercial type beer that we could sell, and of course we didn't want to use a whole bunch of sugar. So what we did, we experimented with adding some wheat instead of all the barley, because that was one of the trademarks of Choc. It was cloudy. It usually had a lot of sediment in the bottom. So one thing led to another, and we started ramping the wheat up in place of the cane sugar to kind of get to where we're at now. I mean, we never set out to say Choc's an American wheat beer. And the only reason we call it that is because it's the closest really thing that we can, when somebody says, what's it like? They've probably had an American style wheat beer. So roughly, that's what it is. We're working towards 6 year-round products. We've got the Choc. We've got black lager we call Minor Mishap. We've got a Belgian-style white beer we call Waving Wheat, and we've got a American-style pale ale that we call Basement Batch. And we're working on 2 other beers, one called Petro Pagare and one called Last Laugh. We started brewing here on a commercial level in 1995, but we were only brewing a couple hundred, 300, 400, 500 barrels a year up until about 5 years ago. And we made the leap from about 700 barrels to 2,500 barrels, which is what we did last year, in about a 3-year period. I think that we want to brew really good beer, and we want to brew enough of it that we can pay our guys, which we've got a great crew right now, pay ourselves and have fun doing something that we have some passion for. But it is a lot of fun, and it's great. You know, there's those other things that are involved in it too, which is when somebody has your beer and they really like it. I mean, it's a good feeling.
Come and visit us on the web. At basicbrewing.com, you'll find archive lists of both our audio and video podcasts on home brewing. You can also find a special deal on our home brewing DVDs. In Introduction to Extract Home Brewing, we walk you through the extract brewing process from boiling to bottling. In Stepping into All Grain, we take you from milling your grain to collecting your wort. And in Low-Tech Lagering and Decoction Mashing, we take you through a single-step decoction mash and show you how to maintain lager temperatures, even in the heat of summer, without the use of a dedicated chest freezer. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. You can email James at basicbrewing.com, Steve at basicbrewing.com, or just use the contact form on basicbrewing.com.
Stop. I didn't like my eye contact. I was looking like over there going.
The lens is right there.
I know. Okay.